The debate on the safety or otherwise of genetically modified organisms rages on. Another issue is whether or not Ghana, as a signatory to the International Protocol on Biosafety, should accept and adopt the technology. Those for and against its adoption continue in their attempt to win the support of the nation. Despite their efforts, many are unsure about the law that regulates the technology. In this special report, Ghana Television looks at biotechnology, what is being done about it in Ghana, and whether the food production technology poses any threat to human health.
The world over, the concept of biotechnology has been mainly used to improve food and crop production for many years, an example being corn, which has gone through many years of transformation to what we enjoy today. In this case, the crops are genetically manipulated to improve. Research scientists have used different forms of biotechnology in the laboratory to improve nutritional and medicinal qualities of crops. Genetic engineering or modification was developed by scientists about 30 years ago, the United States being one of the leading producers of GM foods like rice. The difference in technology being one that is conventionally grown and the other which is tweaked or modified. Already, it is believed that some of the imported foods were derived through the GM technology. Some say insulin as treatment for diabetes and vitamin A supplement, among other pharmaceutical products, were developed through the GM technology. Ghana as a country ratified the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety in May 2004 after the various national legal procedures and measures to regulate research in the technology in the country. Aside this, the National Biosafety Committee has also been set up to help the government regulate GM research in the country. A soil microbiologist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Robert Abedu, is a member of the NBC. He says the laws are meant for research work alone.
And by regulation, it means it involves the application, installation, the management, and the termination of the experiment. So there are guidelines that we have to abide or go by when you are applying, what to do, when you are installing, what you have to do, after the experimentation, what you have to do with the products.
So far, both the LI and the Biosafety Act of 2011 are for only research into the GMOs with no provision for the importation or commercial production of such crops. The Crop Research Institute, CRI, one of the 13 subsidiaries of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, has been at the forefront of the research and introduction of improved crop varieties through the traditional or conventional technology to farmers for mass and commercial production in Ghana since 1964. It is currently one of the only 2 research institutions mandated to research into GM rice and potato. Research into sweet potato has, however, been delayed due to lack of funds. A 4-member team is spearheading the GM research. One of them is a senior research scientist at the CRI, Dr. Mrs. Mariam Quain. She speaks about the focus of the research, its likely duration, and why people should not fret over the technology.
I would say that when we talk of the foods that we eat, GM foods are safer than our conventional foods because there are bodies that regulate everything that you do. So you test everything and you know that if there is any line is going to be have traits that confer allergenicity in humans, they are not introduced for human consumption.
The first research into GM rice started in 2013 at a confined field at Nobewam in the Ejusudwaben municipality of Ashanti. In line with the National Biosafety Law, the 2-acre GM rice confined field trial is being conducted under strict conditions. It is located about 5 kilometers from the community and quite a distance from the other crop farms. Apart from the trenches dug around, the trial field is completely protected against any intrusion from both humans and animals. Dr. Maxwell Asante is a research scientist and also the principal investigator in the GM rice project.
You start with a confined field trial, and it's confined because you don't want pollen to drift from here to another place. So then you have to have a 50 meters isolation distance.
The director of the CRI, Reverend Dr. Hansi Dudapa, said so far the institute has applied only the traditional or conventional research technology to develop the many improved crop varieties it has so far introduced to Ghanaian farmers since 1964. He said the GM research activities are strictly regulated, leaving no loopholes for manipulation, while local and international laws and bodies closely monitor. Reverend Dr. Dudapa said it is difficult to differentiate between GM foods and ordinary foods on the market, which all Ghanaians patronize. He cautioned that the CRI will not recommend the consumption of any food product that is harmful to human health. Reverend Dr. Dudapa gave details about certain laws and the bill currently in Parliament for consideration.
We're talking about three separate, these are acts: the Plant and Fertilizer Act, the Biosafety Act, and then what is currently before Parliament is the Plant Breeders Bill. But people are confusing, GMOs with this. We are seeking to protect the rights of the materials we have developed over the years.